All right, guys, tacticalrab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome to the Major One kickoff. Well, not really kickoff at all anymore. Interview series. We're kicking it off, though, with Zed from the Boston Breach. It's just fantastic stuff. We're back in business. Going to try and do a great job breaking down what some of these teams are thinking heading into this Major One, because it's going to be a hectic one, and we have a crazy month of COD ahead of us, because straight after this Major, we're into a load of week of Major 2 qualifiers, then Major 2 after that. Zed, it's been a while since we've talked. Oh my God, my voice is sounding weird. How are you doing? You're over on Boston Breach now. It's fantastic to see. I remember, watching you and Denz back in the reciprocity days, all the cracking content that was coming up, and it was kind of a shame the way that all fell apart. It's good to see you land on your feet again, to be honest, because the last couple of years have been a bit up and down, right?
Yeah, I mean, going from rec to Paris Legion and stuff like that was quite a big difference. When you go from an organization that focuses on content and wants to interact with the fans as much as possible to a team that has the complete opposite kind of goals, it's a pretty weird situation to be in. So yeah, I'm just happy to be somewhere where they actually care about us and just working with everyone behind the scenes at Boston and Oxygen. Everyone's on the same, everyone's got the same goal in mind, and there's going to be a lot coming from us in the next couple of months, which you guys will see, but can't really say too much. Don't want to give it away.
I like that. That's what we want to see. Fantastic stuff. I mean, look, I don't think we've really spoken since you've become Boston's head coach. Yeah. I mean, how quickly did it take to kind of settle into the role, right? Because from being a player and then obviously becoming a coach now, and like from your perspective, is coaching way more nerve-wracking than playing?
Oh, 100%. It's so much more nerve-wracking. In terms of like transitioning, like as a player, you can ask my previous coaches, I always try to work closely with the coaches. I always deem myself as a smarter player and player that likes to play COD the right way. So I used to work with coaches every day. Me and Dom in London, Dom was one of my favorite coaches, and me and him used to sit down for hours after practice, and just me and him go over VOD of like what the team wants to be doing to try and I went into London as like a short-term fix, if you want to say that. So me and him try to brainstorm and come up with ideas of how to actually help him. And yeah, he always said, because me and Dom weren't that close before that, but he always said like you'd be a great coach. So ever since then, I kind of had confidence in myself to actually give it a go. So I'm thankful that Boston gave a chance on me and Denz, and yeah, it's been good, man. It's been good.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, so when you guys announced your team, I think the team selection turned a lot of heads, right? When the roster was revealed. Yep. It seems to have paid off so far, especially the capisdal recruitment. He's been thrown out of control. Loads of highlight moments. Yep. Many players and teams kind of had you in the. When I did this the first time around, we did this. We had the kind of all right, who's top 5 in the game? Like, what's the rankings? A lot of players had you in that kind of ballpark, top 4, top 6 type range. Last 2 weeks haven't been quite so pretty, especially the New York defeat, which wasn't ideal, giving you guys the 8th seed. What exactly, from your perspective, has kind of gone wrong over the last week or so? And, is LAN going to bring an additional challenge? Because I think that was part of the concern that, like, at the kickoff, there was like, these guys are kind of new to LAN. How are you going to deal with what you've kind of faced the last week or so, but also consider the return to LAN, of course?
Yeah. The last 2 weeks have been pretty difficult. How can I put this without sounding weird? Trying to bring the rookies, like, they're very good at what they do. They caught our eye because they're very good at taking risks, not thinking too far ahead. So like me and Denz, obviously as smarter players, we tried implementing that, and we're trying to implement that, like, play structured, take routes that are needed, don't just headbutt hills. And I think it's all about finding the balance. I think maybe over the last 2 weeks we put too much emphasis on it, and we took away what we were good at. So I think trying to find the balance of like letting them kind of go rogue, if you want to say that, but also, adding in a bit of the elements of actually playing COD properly to that will make us pretty unpredictable in terms of what we're going to do. Because I think teams are so predictable. You've got certain teams that they're going to take every route. They're going to wait for each other. They're going to do this. But if we can do a bit of both, which I think Toronto are good at, Toronto are a structured team, but they do take their risks, and you can watch any of their games back, and sometimes they won't wait for each other and they'll just go, and it works. So trying to implement that into our game. And then in terms of LAN, I would say it's hard, but having Zinni on the team, kind of a fan favorite, so I think that kind of eases the nerves. As a player, I was never a fan favorite, so I just got booed every time I went on stage. So it was always difficult for me. Going against Optic, and all you can hear is the crowd screaming, and every time tjhaly gets a 2-piece, he shot me and denz in the back, and the crowd went wild. So these guys should be fine. And the one I was worried about was Cap. Deal's as cold as anything. That guy doesn't really get nervous. So Cap was the one I was worried about, and he proved to me at the kickoff that I've got nothing to worry about, and he's confident as ever. So
yeah, fantastic
we're
stuff.
in a good spot. Yep.
Yeah, what you said there was very interesting actually, because my next question was kind of about because you guys were late to the Rostermania party. It was I think a lot of people thought, all right, this team, Boston, pretty good the first few weeks they formed, but just based on the talent of the other teams in the league, if they get their act together, they should, be the stronger teams in the league. That's kind of how it works. But I thought what you guys said about, all right, actually playing a different structure to catch these teams off guard is quite interesting in a way that you can actually go past some of the limitations. But of course, look, other teams have already started dipping into that challenges bucket, right, to pick some players up. We've seen Paris think about it. We've seen New York give it a go. As far as I'm aware, you guys don't have a substitute right now. I'm sure you're keeping an eye on the talent down there, just because every team is probably thinking that, all right, well, we see what Minnesota did with Standy last year, bring him in. No one else wanted him, won an event. Maybe there's going to be some teams this year that pull a similar thing off.
Yeah, I think people have kind of woken up now and seen where the talent is. I would like to be an organization that, is early to that kind of move. Not saying about making a roster change, but having the players on your radar is always a great thing. I look back at Paris Legion, and we had obviously Brandon Novus, the Seattle GM now, and he put forward players like Mac, Hydra. He put forward all these players, and we just didn't act on it. Paris did not act on it, and if you look back and they acted on it, then the year could have been so different. The Paris team in Cold War was, we put forward as me, denz, Hydra, and Pred, and Paris just wouldn't match, Hydra's offer from New York. So some teams obviously need to get their act together, but yeah, we definitely want to be a team that is first to the punch, and even that's if that's with an academy team, and you house the talent and you grow the talent into, getting ready for the league. Whether that means you bring them in or you end up selling them off to a different team. I think there's a lot of moves that can be made to, be successful for Boston.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So anyway, you guys, you narrowly survived the winners bracket. It was touch and go. You needed to win one map against Optic to make it through, because that meant that your map win percentage was 45% as opposed to Florida's 44%. So just before we talk about this coming weekend, what's your perspective on this year's format? Because from my perspective, I think it's more interesting and probably will retain the excitement longer, because there's these, you don't really know who you're going to play. There's more interesting matchups that happen. The tiebreakers get to the point where every single time on the final day of matches, there's always going to be something on the line, more than likely. However, is there a compromise there with competitive integrity? Because some teams have harder schedules, and yet the map count is what determines tiebreakers. So there's a trade-off there. Just what's your perspective on the whole thing that they've changed this year, from going from groups to just what we do now?
Yeah, I think for the fans and people watching, I think the schedule's good. Obviously, you want to see exciting matches all the time. You don't want any, matches that nobody cares about. That's not going to bring in new viewership and retain viewership. So I think that's the goal in mind, is to keep everyone watching. But as you said, the schedules are they're brutal for some teams. I think we have the hardest schedule. Us coming in as the quote unquote 12th team, we get the hardest schedule. I don't see how that's how is that fair? to any
I see what you're
team
saying.
to have the hardest schedule. I think the 3 teams with the hardest schedule are us, Paris, and LAG. And you look at that and you're like, okay, yeah, they're the worst teams. Then they're not going to win games anyway. But like, at least give them a chance. Like Toronto, great team, top 2 team in the game, but they have the easiest schedule in the league. So I don't know. That doesn't sit right with me, and I wish there was a way to make it fairer. It's any team can win on its given day. So to punish a team just like us for being the 12th team seems pretty odd to me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we'll see what they do going forward. That's the thing, like that on paper, yeah, you guys might have the hardest schedule, but down the line, like who knows even how good these teams are, right? Some teams might like things will change a lot from now to when the scheduled matches are in week 5. Like a lot of people would look at New York and someone's schedule before the season, think, wow, that's going to be scary. Turns out in stage 1, obviously you guys lost them. I don't want to talk about that anymore, but that's okay.
Our stage 5, stage 5 matches. I'm not gonna like leak what the matches are because I don't think they're public. But fuck me, dude, we've got a hard schedule.
I can see them.
Yeah,
in stage 4.
You can see them?
Okay,
stage
you guys
4?
play Optic. You play LA Thieves, you play Seattle, you play LAG, you play Toronto. Oh, okay. That's not so easy. It's not so easy. Okay,
is that public?
Well.
Is that?
Yeah, it's all public. It's all public.
Okay. I didn't know if it wasn't.
So yeah, you're fine.
That's stage 4, right? Yeah.
That's pretty brutal. Yeah, stage 4, the final one. Okay, not ideal, but you guys will be best team of the game by then, so it won't be an issue.
Hopefully.
Let's talk about the major. This coming weekend, first up you play FaZe, suboptimal for sure. How are you feeling going in? Preparation for this game? Obviously, you could have had a better seed, didn't work out for you. You've got to beat the best to be the best, as they say. So, yeah, I mean, look, you know who you're playing. You can prepare. It's going to be a difficult match.
Yeah, I think, obviously, we played FaZe recently in our stage 1, and I think with how close... Right? Yeah, we think, looking back at that, we definitely thought we were in position to win that game at some point. So we're going to take the positives from that, learn from our mistakes, and look, as Den says, if you're going to play the best team in the game, you want to be round 1, right? If we're gonna win the tournament, you're going to play FaZe somewhere along the line. So what better way than round 1? Hopefully they come out flat, or we come out with fire. And honestly, if we beat FaZe, I'm not going to say that we'll be a very hard team to beat, but the confidence will be through the roof for the boys. So, that round 1's going to be very nerve-wracking for me and Denz. We're going to be in the back, just you know how it goes. But yeah, I'm optimistic, and I have full faith in my boys to just come out and play what we practice, and hopefully come out with a dub.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, that's what Seattle did at the kickoff, right? They played FaZe. FaZe kind of came out slow, and they got the job done pretty comfortably. So who knows? Anything's possible. Second question is there any particular team that you guys are looking to get the better of? I mean, obviously you've been on London, you've been on Paris. You had a few words to say about Paris as an organization. Obviously, if you were to play Paris, that would mean at some point you'd be in the losers bracket, you'd think, unless they make the grand finals. So maybe you don't want to play them just because, you're going to go through winners all the way through.
Yeah. No, I think, in terms of, the players on the team, I'd love to play Toronto. I'd love to play LA Thieves. I'd love to play London because I was on there. Everyone on you look at Tej and Zin, and some people would say this is their last chance. So they're looking to prove something. And 100 Thieves, if we're playing 100 Thieves on London, we're probably somewhere high in the winners bracket, so I don't mind playing them, and taking it there. But yeah, that probably all them, and I think Nero wants to play LAG, and Cap's just Cap. Cap ain't got no revenge for anyone, so Cap just sits there. But yeah, honestly, there's about 4 teams that we would like to play and get the better of. So
hopefully you get the chance.
Yeah.
So final question. Kind of interested what people say for this one as we do some more of these. But what is either a good or an acceptable result for you guys at this event? Some teams are in position to say anything other than winning is not acceptable. But for you guys, it's like, look, what what placing, I guess. And of course, your bracket is harder than most people's,
Yeah.
so you get put into a bit of a predicament. But like, what do you want to see coming out of this weekend that makes you say, okay, that was a good stepping stone?
I think one for us, it's just I would like us to bring home as much like practice as possible at the highest level, the highest intensity. But anything for me personally, anything top 6 and above, I'd love to win. I would really love to win. But top 6, I can look at and be like, okay, we are showing signs of improvement. We're putting the pieces together, and we can learn from that and push forward. And I also think getting top 6 would kind of give these guys like that boost they need. Like, wow, we can actually do this. Like, we were so close, kind of thing. 2 or 3 more series, and we were lifting the trophy. So, yeah, obviously everyone wants to win, right? But I think top 6 would be. I'd bring the boys back and take them out to dinner somewhere in Boston if we got top 6. Anything below that, and they're ordering McDonald's. Or, yeah, they're on their own.
Yeah, rice and beans. All right. Fantastic stuff. Thanks very much for your time, Zed. Do you have any final words for the Boston fans out there cheering the boys on this weekend?
Yeah, just thank you to you all. I know a lot of you are going to be in Dallas this weekend. There's going to be some surprises, hopefully, this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. And the future, we got, like I said in the beginning of this interview, we got a lot coming and a lot for the fans to be excited about. So I can't wait for you to see it. Till then, just keep supporting the boys. It means more than you guys know. Because, as a player, I know how stressful these times can be, especially when you start losing back-to-back games against New York and Optic.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Thanks all for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.